see it? I mean, y'all can't see it.
No, we can't see it.
Y'all can't see that he loves me?
But see,
you really, hold on, you really think that's hate? You really, when you really break it down, you've been out here a long time. You know he loves me.
I don't think
he says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity.
Hey, Fab talking to Floyd Fifth. Hey, yo, Rastafari. Hey, yo. Fab walked in. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
50 Cent absolutely despises Diddy, and now he has seemingly pulled back the curtain on how Diddy used Justin Bieber.
Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out some girls.
Man after my heart, that's what I'm talking about.
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you haven't. I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But you never really got.
After Homeland Security raided rapper Diddy's homes, an old video of him with a teenage Justin Bieber surfaced and went viral on the internet.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
People were concerned about the video because of their big age difference and Diddy's continuing legal difficulties, including sexual misbehavior and trafficking.
What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber? And Diddy did that on tape.
In the video, Diddy discussed spending time with 15-year-old Bieber, describing it as a 48 hours with Diddy experience. This made some people uncomfortable, particularly given Diddy's severe allegations. In the video, Diddy stated, "Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy. Where we're hanging out and what we're doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream." He added, "For the next 48 hours, he's with me, and we're gonna go full crazy." Throughout the video, Justin Bieber smiled awkwardly. Social media users condemned the video, calling Diddy creepy and expressing concern for Bieber's safety. They speculated about Bieber's experiences as a young celebrity. Clips of Justin Bieber being sexualized as a teen are also appearing on TikTok, and fans claim it's making them feel more compassionate toward him. The videos, which have received millions of views in recent days, show Bieber attending various award shows or press interviews in his younger years, being asked sexual questions, and being touched by other celebrities in an inappropriate manner, according to viewers. One of the videos shows actress Jenny McCarthy kissing an 18-year-old Bieber on the neck and touching his backside after declaring him the winner of the Rock Pop Album of the Year category at the American Music Awards in 2012. "Wow, I feel violated right now," Bieber is heard saying in the video. McCarthy, 40 at the time, told Entertainment Tonight that the event was a little cougar scary, adding, "I took the opportunity and the window, considering I'll never get to do it again, and kind of molested him." Later in the same TikTok, a fragment from old audio of Bieber's conversation with an unknown reporter was aired. According to a re-uploaded version of the audio from Scott Fox's Z103.5 radio show, the interview took place at the Grammy Awards in 2010. "My parents never gave me the sex talk, so why don't you give me the sex talk?" the reporter asks Bieber throughout the recording. "Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy?" Bieber said, "That's pretty weird." TikTokers who commented on the clips said they believed the public reaction to such incidents would have been drastically different if the celebrity involved had been a young woman, pointing to the broader idea that male objectification in Hollywood isn't discussed as much as female objectification, as female child stars have historically been more vocal about being sexualized at a young age. POV, you're a millennial who grew up with Justin Bieber in the same generation and realize he lost his innocence to this evil shithole in exchange for fame, while being exploited left to right and no one protected him, read one caption under a viral duet from March 5th, which shows a user reacting to Bieber clips that have received 3.3 million views. Many users stated that the clips changed their thoughts of Bieber, making them feel more sympathetic to him because of his past. "This honestly made me see him in a different light," said one remark with over 9,000 likes. Several users speculated that these previous instances may have had an affect on Bieber's life, defining the way he currently behaves, claiming that he has a guard up and may have developed trust issues over time. Bieber has already spoken up about how kid stardom had a severe impact on his mental health and approach to relationships. In 2019, he stated on Instagram that he began doing heavy drugs at the age of 19 and had abused all of his relationships. "I became resentful, disrespectful to women, and angry," he told news outlets. And the drug problem was bad, really bad. Justin Bieber has opened up about the difficulties of being a teenage pop star and his past drug usage, revealing in a new interview that his bodyguards would sneak into his room at night and check his pulse to ensure he was still alive. There was a sense of still yearning for more. It was like I had all this success, and it was still like, I'm still sad, and I'm still in pain, and I still have these unresolved issues. And I thought all the success was going to make everything good. And so for me, the drugs were a numbing agent to just continue to get through, he told GQ magazine. As Bieber struggled, he had several run-ins with the law and exhibited some unpredictable conduct. The 27-year-old Sorry singer told GQ that certain people in the industry prey on other people's anxieties, which irritated him. And then you're this young, angry person who had these big dreams, and then the world just jades you and makes you into this person that you don't want to be, he said. And then you wake up one day and your relationships are effing up and you're unhappy and you have all this success in the world. But you're just like, well, what is this worth if I'm still feeling empty inside? Bieber admitted that at points in his career, he wished for a sense of normalcy. The musician recounted one incident in which he and a companion hid his passport in the hopes that he could take some time off. The record label is freaking out, saying, "You have to do the Today show next week and you can't find your passport. It takes a certain amount of days to get a new passport. But I was just going to do anything to be able to just be normal at that time," he said. Bieber later acknowledged hiding his passport and continued with his appearance on the Today show. The singer also spoke out to the magazine about his health problems. "To be honest, I am a lot healthier and I did have a lot of things going on," he said. "I did have mono and I do have Lyme disease. But I was also navigating a lot of emotional terrain, which had a lot to do with it. And we like to blame a lot of things on other things. Sometimes, it's a lot of times just your own stuff." Now, the pop artist attributes his relationship with God and marriage to his wife, Haley, for putting him on a better road. "My home life was unstable," Bieber said about finding love with Baldwin. Like, my home life was not existing. I didn't have a significant other. I didn't have someone to love. I didn't have someone to pour into, but now I have that. Regarding his faith, Bieber stated that God is grace, and that every time we mess up, he's picking us back up every single time. That's how I view it. And so it's like, I made a mistake. I won't dwell in it. I don't sit in shame. But it actually makes me want to do better, he said. Diddy's long-term connection with Usher is also under question. During a recent appearance on The Art of Dialogue, Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal discusses his reaction to Usher's performance on Club Shay Shay in January. On the episode, Usher discussed his time as a minor at Diddy's flavor camp in the 1990s. However, Deal alleges the recent Super Bowl headliner was not totally upfront about his time being taught by Diddy. The section begins with Deal discussing Usher's purported reference in Rodney Lil Rod Jones's sexual harassment lawsuit against Diddy. The complaint names several more celebrities, as well as a few unidentified artists. One unidentified musician in the lawsuit, who reportedly had group intercourse with Diddy, Stevie J, and an unknown rapper, is characterized as an R&B singer who performed at the Super Bowl, SIC, and had a successful Vegas residency. While Usher fits that description, as of this writing, there is no public evidence that Usher is the anonymous singer or that he committed the claimed crimes. However, Deal believes that the history of Diddy and Usher's connection is worrisome. "The Usher part, that's a touchy situation, man," Deal told AOD. "I know and people know that was around in that time, that Puff Daddy and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital." While Deal does not elaborate on the hospital event, he does claim that Diddy nurtured Usher when he was a teenager. Now I'll let Usher explain that to y'all. I'll let Usher tell that story," he continued. "But how dare you say a man that groomed you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know." Usher resided in New York with Diddy when producing his eponymous first album in 1994, and the 8-time Grammy winner admitted to experiencing some strange things. Following concerns from his mother, Jonetta Patton, Usher was introduced to producer and So Def founder Jermaine Dupri, who would eventually become Usher's mentor and collaborate on his 1997 sophomore album, My Way. However, before Usher relocated to Atlanta, Deal believes that the singer engaged in inappropriate interactions with older women while under Diddy's supervision. "Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel," Deal recounted. "Puff had Kim Porter in the room, had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him fellatio right there. His back was turned to me." He continued, "She gave him fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in the mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy's camp." Deal's claims are unsubstantiated, but the former bodyguard turned author cited another interview in which Usher discussed Flavor Camp on the Howard Stern Show in 2016. Usher told Stern that when he was 14, famous record executive L.A. Reid brought him to New York City to live with Diddy, then known as Puff Daddy in the 1990s, an experience that Usher and Stern dubbed Puffy Flavor Camp. "I went there to see the lifestyle, and I saw it," Usher said, appearing to be deliberate with his comments. "But I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild," he added. When Stern inquired if the music producer's house was filled with chicks and had non-stop orgies, Usher responded, "Nah, not really." "But hey, it was curious," the singer said. "There were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it," Usher went on to say. The You Got It Bad singer also mentioned that notable musicians such as Biggie Smalls, Lil' Kim, Faith Evans, and Mary J. Blige used to visit Combs' house at the time, but claimed they were oblivious of any illegal activity. "They knew nothing about this shit," Usher stated. Although Usher didn't go into detail about what he saw while living with Combs, he did indicate that it wasn't a good setting for a young kid when Stern questioned if he would have let his own son live there. "Hell no," the pop star replied. "The charges that Diddy interacted with underage boys and females are gathering traction and being linked to the R. Kelly case." R. Kelly, a disgraced R&B musician who was once worth hundreds of millions of dollars, is now serving what amounts to life in federal prison. After decades of sex abuse allegations and an acquittal on child pornography charges, the documentary series Surviving R. Kelly gave his accusers a voice and helped bring the singer down. Kelly was charged with federal crimes in New York 6 months after the show aired. He was convicted not only of sex trafficking, but also of racketeering, which are charges that detail how a person's enterprise was utilized to commit criminal acts. Sean Diddy Combs is currently the subject of a similar federal investigation. However, the claims against him are drastically different, and it is uncertain whether criminal charges will be filed. Authorities have said little about the investigation. However, law enforcement sources have verified to the Times that Combs is being investigated for sex trafficking, which is at least partially related to civil cases filed by multiple women who have accused him of misbehavior. Combs has denied any wrongdoing, and his attorneys have criticized the probe as unjustified. After federal authorities raided the artist's houses in Florida and Los Angeles some weeks ago, his attorney decried a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and said the probe is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. However, recent high-profile sex trafficking cases may provide insight into how the authorities normally develop a case and what officials would need to pursue charges. The playbook for these types of cases is R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, Larry Ray, and NXIVM's founder Keith Raniere, said Elizabeth Geddes, who gave a 6-hour closing argument in Kelly's case. In November, Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie, sued him for rape. Within a day, he was settled. Since then, 3 more women have sued Combs, accusing him of rape, sex trafficking, violence, and other violations. One of the allegations concerned a juvenile. A male producer also sued him for unwelcome sexual contact. Geddes, who is not engaged in the Combs case, believes Ventura may have triggered the federal probe. She stated that the Kelly docuseries prompted the Eastern District of New York to take action, and that type of high-level probe frequently requires an outside spark. In Kelly's case, he was acquitted in 2008, and many of his accusers lost faith in police enforcement. However, the documentary re-engaged authorities. Nothing puts pressure on law enforcement like a front-page story on the major newspaper in the city, Geddes went on to say. Combs' investigation, led by Homeland Security, is many months old, according to sources, and several people involved in the matter, including accusers and putative witnesses, have already been examined. According to Geddes, Homeland Security investigations worked on the Kelly case, and its agents typically have years of expertise working with sex trafficking victims. She stated that sex trafficking involves either force, fraud, or coercion to cause a person to engage in a commercial sex act, or the trafficking of juveniles under the age of 18. There is no statute of limitations, Geddes explained, and the crucial law passed in the 2000s extends to conduct committed after 2001. Geddes said that, in addition to the sex allegations against Kelly, she and her colleagues obtained a racketeering indictment against the singer. The accusation has famously been used against mob bosses like John Gotti and James Whitey Bulger. In racketeering cases, Geddes explained, the enterprise engages in illegal behavior, and prosecutors strive to demonstrate a larger pattern of conduct that spans years and involves numerous players. A racketeering case also enables various victim narratives to be presented in a single trial. Racketeering was declared a federal criminal in 1970 by the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO. Its popularity has grown over time. It is frequently employed against gangs such as the Mexican Mafia and the Crips in South Los Angeles. Rappers affiliated with street gangs like as Young Thug, K-Flock, Casanova, and Fetty Wap have also faced racketeering charges. Federal prosecutors have obtained racketeering charges not only against Kelly, but also against other sex traffickers, including NXIVM founder Raniere and Larry Ray, whose crimes were detailed in the documentary Stolen Youth Inside the Cult at Sarah Lawrence. However, it is unclear what evidence the feds have against Combs and whether it is sufficient to file charges. There are little details available, but sources claim detectives took electronics, data devices, and other material from his 2 homes. Legal experts have warned the Times that evidence in sex trafficking trials must be detailed because the allegations might be difficult to prove. Sex trafficking for adults usually involves some sort of coercion or other restraints, said Dimitri Gorin, a Los Angeles defense attorney. Prosecutors would need to prove that you encouraged somebody to engage in sexual activity for money or some other inducement. Aaron Dyer, one of Combs' lawyers, stated in a statement issued following the raids that there has been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. The mother of Combs' son, Justin Dior Combs, also criticized the inquiry and raids. The overzealous and overtly militarized force used against my sons Justin and Christian is deplorable, designer Misa Hilton said after releasing video showing federal agents dressed in military gear pointing a gun at Combs' sons. If these were the sons of a non-black celebrity, they would not have been handled with the same aggression. The attempt to humiliate and terrorize these innocent young black men is despicable. Federal sex trafficking and sexual assault laws also allow prosecutors to present evidence demonstrating a pattern of behavior. In the R. Kelly trial, several women testified about what Kelly did to them as part of a pattern of behavior. It is very much the same thing people saw in Harvey Weinstein's prosecution, Geddes said. If prosecutors charge Combs, they may also accuse the use of forced labor under fear, Geddes said. Ventura, Combs' former girlfriend, claimed she was forced to perform sex activities with other men and was physically harmed for complaining. If true, Geddes believes this may be called forced labor. Kelly was found guilty of 8 offenses under the Mann Act. which was introduced in 1910 and intended to outlaw what is now known as human trafficking. The legislation originally prohibited moving a woman or child across state lines for the purpose of prostitution or debauchery, or for any other immoral purpose. The Mann Act now includes transportation over state borders with the intent that such individual engages in prostitution or in any sexual activity for which any person can be charged with a criminal offense. According to Getty's, one woman accused Combs of bringing her from Detroit as a 17-year-old to his studios so he could rape her alongside his associates. Getty's stated that before the highly publicized searches of Combs' residences were carried out, prosecutors and HSI officers had to have made some headway into the investigations. What we can say at this stage is there was enough probable cause to convince a magistrate to issue a search warrant, she told reporters. Before getting such a warrant, agents have typically interviewed multiple witnesses. According to Getty's, such searches often seek corroboration of evidence because high-profile individuals frequently collaborate with others to perpetrate such crimes. Getty's claimed Kelly's storage facility turned out to be a gold mine. He stored message slips, handwritten notes, and emails for picking up women and girls. There were videos, lots of videos, she added. We had so much evidence presented in Kelly, it was hard to fit it all into the closing, Getty's told the court. He used his money and public persona to hide his crimes in plain sight, she told jurors back then. Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which provided victims with a one-year window to sue their alleged sexual abusers and institutions, even if the statute of limitations had expired. The window expired in November. She alleges she met Combs in 2005 when she was 19 and he was 37. In the case, she claims that Combs had control over almost every aspect of her life, including her job and access to her personal medical information. She claims he was routinely abusive, physically beating her multiple times a year, and provided her with copious amounts of drugs. The complaint also alleges that Combs forced Ventura to have intercourse with male sex workers in other cities, which she claims he witnessed, masturbated to, and videotaped. The singer claims she never went to the police because she was scared it would give Mr. Combs another reason to hurt her. She further claims that after dinner in 2018, Combs forced himself into her apartment and assaulted her while she repeatedly said no and tried to push him away. Ventura claims she quit the relationship for good afterward. In her claim, she cited several witnesses who observed the abuse occur. One of them is her friend, singer-songwriter Tiffany Red, who penned an open letter to Combs about an incident during Ventura's 29th birthday celebration in 2015. Ventura and Red believe that Combs and his security crew ordered Ventura out that night because he wanted her to have sexual contacts with other men. Red claimed Ventura told her at the time that Combs was physically aggressive. I feel compelled to show up for Cassie and myself and confirm that everything she described in her complaint about what happened that night is consistent with what I experienced, she wrote in an email. Following Cassie and Diddy's settlement, Liza Gardner filed a lawsuit on November 23rd, shortly before the Adult Survivors Act expired. She claims she and a friend met Combs and singer-songwriter Aaron Hall at an MCA Records event in 1990 or 1991. They went back to Hall's place for an after-party, where Gardner claims she was offered more drinks and coerced into having sex with Combs. She claims Combs also abused her friend. According to the lawsuit, the incident left Gardner shocked and traumatized, and as she changed, Hall allegedly barged into the room, pinned her down, and forced her to have sex with him. Gardner claims that Combs returned to the residence she shared with her companion a few days later and reportedly assaulted her again. He came to the residence looking for the buddy because he was afraid she would inform the girl he was with at the time, according to the claim. In a separate lawsuit filed on the same day, Joy Dickerson Neal claims that in 1991, she reluctantly went on a date with Combs, who intentionally drugged and sexually attacked her after dinner. She claims that Combs videotaped the attack and gave the footage to others. While Dickerson Neal did not contact the police immediately following the alleged assault, she claims she did later submit a police report to various agencies in New York and New Jersey. According to the complaint, prosecutors informed her that they would need to confirm her allegations, but she believes potential witnesses were terrified that Combs would retaliate against them and that they would lose future business and music opportunities if they made a statement, supporting her account. Diddy's spokesperson called the two women's charges fabricated and accused them of misusing the Adult Survivors Act. Another woman, known only as Jane Doe in the complaint, filed a fourth lawsuit on December 6th, alleging that Combs, his longtime sidekick Harve Pierre, and a third unidentified assailant gang-raped her at Combs' Manhattan recording studio in 2003, when she was 17 years old. Pierre, who formerly served as president of Combs' Bad Boy Entertainment, is also being sued by a former assistant, who claims he used his position of authority as plaintiff's boss to groom, exploit, and sexually assault her many times between 2016 and 2017. According to the lawsuit, the men smuggled Doe across state lines from Detroit to New York City on a private jet, loaded her with drugs and booze until she couldn't consent, and then viciously abused her after she urged them to stop. The complaint also includes other images that Doe claims were shot at the studio on that night, including one of her sitting on Combs' lap. In February, Combs' former producer and cameraman filed a federal lawsuit against the mogul, accusing him of sexual harassment, drugging, and threats. According to the lawsuit, Rodney Lil Rod Jones collaborated on Combs' most recent album, Love, and lived with him from September 2022 to November 2023. Jones goes on to claim that he was the victim of constant, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. According to the lawsuit, Jones once awoke naked and bewildered in bed with Combs and two sex workers. He alleges that the music mogul drugged him. The complaint also alleges that Jones, as Combs' videographer, secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in serious illegal activity. The suit charges criminal behavior such as drug acquisition, solicitation of sex workers, giving laced drinks to minors, and sexual assault. Jones's lawsuit names numerous additional defendants, including Combs' son, Justin, Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, Universal Music Group CEO Sir Lucian Grange, and former Motown Records CEO Ethiopia Habtemariam. Combs' attorney, Sean Hawley, rejected Jones's allegations. "We have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies," she said in an interview with People. In April, a woman filed a separate lawsuit against Combs' son, Christian Combs, alleging that the 26-year-old drugged and sexually raped her on a boat hired by the music mogul in December 2022. The lawsuit also names Combs as a defendant. Grace O'Marcaigh accused the rapper of aiding and abetting his son, claiming that he is culpable as the charterer of the yacht. O'Marcaigh, a steward on the yacht, reportedly claimed to have witnessed celebrity partying and drug usage, as well as the constant rotation of suspected sex workers. One lawsuit claims Combs groomed his accuser to pass him off to his friends and profited from his celebrity connections. In his lawsuit, Jones claims that he thought Combs was grooming him, and that fear became a reality when actor Cuba Gooding Jr. allegedly molested him on the music mogul's boat. The alleged victim began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones's legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks and his shoulders, according to the report. Mr. Jones was extremely uncomfortable and proceeded to lean away from Mr. Gooding Jr. He resisted his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. persisted until Mr. Jones physically shoved him away. A revised version of the complaint filed in late March lists Gooding Jr. as a defendant, according to People. According to the lawsuit, Combs' network supported his behavior so that he could have access to celebrities with whom he knew and associated. Mr. Combs was known for throwing the best parties, the suit states. Affiliation with and/or sponsorship of Mr. Combs' sex trafficking parties garnered legitimacy and access to celebrities such as famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British Royal, Prince Harry. What else do you think we will learn about Diddy now? Let me know in the comments.